Okay, hello everyone. I'm Chao Guy. In this lesson, we'll write this required info. Let's go here and write a required info. Well, this required info actually has quite a lot of content, and our writing method is quite special. First of all, let's just make it public. We won't worry about any front lines. Just follow me and call it here. Don't worry too much. Just call it over first. Let's call this string above first. You can see it's such a long string. What is this? Actually, we don't really care about this string. Why is that? We found this ERNIE Bot. We use this tiny documentation, tiny by K, that's it. And you can see there's a request description here. And here, these correspond to these things. We only need to focus on this stream. And here there are some default parameter validations and such. And this is a TL message. Right? Since some of these things have a yes-no aspect, you can see many yes-no aspects. We mainly deal with the no aspect. Okay. Good. So here, I'll just copy it directly. You can just type it out accordingly, or you can directly take it from my code. That's completely fine, because this thing has no technical difficulty. It's just typing it out one by one. It would waste too much of everyone's time. Then here, we need to prepare an info. This is equivalent to the information from our ongoing conversation. Okay, let's call the prefix here. We actually have an S to F here. Let's change it later. This place is still written as BP. Okay, I'll change this later. Now let's take a look here. Mainly change the front part. It should be called this name. Let's change this name. Rename it. Remove the AC and F, then change this to BD. Okay, good. That's changed now. And this place probably has the same issue. Let's just rename it. Good, these are all minor issues. Minor issues. Okay, then let's take a look at how this is defined here. This is actually quite simple. We'll just copy it over here. Alright, so for now, we won't give this to you. Don't look at this for now. Okay, then change this name, then apply the red handle. Then delete the class relationship here. And put this thing here over there. Okay. Then let's take a look at this place. Are there any other errors or anything? Okay, let's compile it first. This place is also XF. Let's remove XF. You must declare this struct first. Only then can you declare this other struct. Because the one below is contained by the one below it. So you need to have a sequence of priority. Let's compile it. This compilation is also completely fine. Now, this way of writing is quite special. Because you can't determine whether it's optional or not. So you cannot pass this false, nor can you do this. Because this thing, why doesn't it have a default value? You'll notice, right, it doesn't have a default value. So here, do you pass 1000 or 2000? You don't know what its server-side default value is. So you cannot pass this parameter. Then you cannot use UStruct serialization. So we need to use a delegate here. So how should this delegate be written? First of all, let's prepare a delegate. Here we don't need a factory. Here we directly let it serialize the entire structure for us and output it completely. Then we can just return it like this. First of all, we create a string. Then we create a write stream. When creating the write stream here, we better include some things related to JSON. We put the JSON serialization stuff here. Let's just paste it all in at once. Since this should only have write operations, no read operations, we only write it here. Okay, so after creating such a write stream, we will start writing. First, we write an object. So let's not write this first. Let's not write this message first. Don't write this history information. You see, the history information is actually the accompanying information, then content, and some lam. As for this field, you can see it's this. That is the conversation represented by the current user, assistant or something. Okay, good. This lam might be an unused field. So let's ignore it. Okay, mainly this message. This field might have been copied from somewhere else, so let's leave it here. It mainly uses Rogan content, so ignore it. Then we need to convert this thing into this JSON, convert it into a tier rate JSON. So here in this thing, it's a bit tricky. Let's prepare such a method. Here we won't let it directly accept the turn. We'll have it pass in a write stream, then write into it. Then here we'll implement it. Okay, then this implementation should be placed above. Good. Take a look. Good. Then let's go back to our place here. Everyone should still remember, right? So I wrote an object start here. Then I must write an object end. Close. Then we need to close it. Okay. So now we need to write this. Task writer data. It is a tar fetch. So since it is a tier, our first thought is to iterate over it. Then call this method pass in our write stream. Then inside here, simply perform a read and write operation after passing it in. Because it is a tarf mark, so we start writing the object here. Okay. Then here we need to prepare a method. Go write this value inside. And this part is for string, right? So we need to prepare a method to write this stream. We told him before that you accept the actual. You need to write it like this, right? WriteValue, then write the name in, and then write it like this. For example, like this. This way it can be mapped, right? For example, if you want to write a piece of data like meat, then its corresponding name should be this. Its actual value is this. Hey, that's fine, but the reason we didn't write it this way here is because we need to check. When this value is not empty, only then do we write into it. So how do we do that? Then we go to our bots and we write another method. Why? Then we call this method write JSON wireless stream. We just pitch these methods all at once. There are some errors here. We need to include the header file. Okay, this place, maybe we can't write it here. Let's not write it here, because this layer might not be suitable to place here. So because of this place, this method is specifically used here. Let's just put it here for now. We can put it here. Put it in this position. Let's protect it. We can put it here. Put it here. Let me think about it. Where's more appropriate to put it? Let's write a utility class here. This utility class doesn't need to cause a red error. It also doesn't need to be reflected to blueprint. ReqInfo, ReqInfo, YouTube. Writing a utility class like this. Okay, of course you can write a namespace. I personally prefer writing utility, a struct for the utility. Okay, starting with that. So these three methods, they will actually pass in the corresponding values. This is overloading. So they just write these two values in. So after we override it, we put it here. Okay, this override will only tell us whether this value has been successfully written, because it is a verification tool we specifically wrote for handling. Okay, so how should we write this part? Actually, for this part, the first thing we write is writing the F38 into this stream. We define it manually. If this string value passed down is not empty, or if it is not these two longs, then we will write it. Otherwise, we won't write it. So this part is defined by us manually. If the integer value passed out here is -1, we also won't write it. If the float value passed out here is -1f, we also won't write it. Then, for this boolean, we can just write it directly, because a boolean definitely does not have this unset value. This boolean is either true or false. It has no unset state, so it can be written directly. Now that we have these methods, what's next? Then we go back to this type here. Back to this type. Then we can directly remove this method. Okay, let's write this. It should be here. Write this JSON value. Then the value of this JSON value is obviously this. Right, that's fine. So it's equivalent to, we cut it over, then write this value in, right? Then we bring it over here. This line might be from before. He optimized it or something. Anyway, now he only has these two. This might be a redundant segment from before. Don't worry about it. And then, like this, we have this array done. So what does this array actually look like? It actually looks like this. It looks like this. You can see. So actually here, how did we write it here? Here we actually, you can see, we can take a look at this place. We actually missed one here. We missed a message like this. It's written like this. It's actually this red object star. It corresponds to this box. It's this box. Can't see it from here. Maybe take a look. Let's take a look. Whatever. Anyway, it's the outermost curly braces. Actually, the outermost curly braces. Then this message. So this message corresponds to this message. This message. Then this write always star will correspond to this. Then here we have a write always star under. So it actually corresponds. Let me switch it over for you. This one, let me explain in detail, corresponds to this in the right object inside here. The first one corresponds to it, and the second one corresponds to this under, corresponds to this. Then the row and content in the middle correspond to these two lines we wrote. And this is a loop after it finishes writing. After writing this object under, then go ahead and write the next one. This is the set of things that come in the second time. So the part here, we group them together. So this thing is the data we wrote for the first group. That's it. Okay. Then we continue to write our other data. As for the other data, you can see if this site is streaming, it will have an extra string. This is a string code. It is at the same level as the message. Then we can just do it like this. I'll just come over directly. Okay, then we just need to change the prefix here. There's not much to say about these parameters. This side is this. This is a boolean. You can see, right? And note that there is a stop here. This stop, it's actually something like this. Just write it like this. And what is this stop? Actually, you see this stop. Let's see if there is still this field. There are also, it is a stop identifier. That is, when the model generation result ends with a certain element in stop, the generation stops. This generation, it is a list string. So here we determine this. It is a tier array. It is a tier array. Then here we write star, write an array. Then this is an array. Then here we check if it is empty. If it is empty, we ignore it. If it's not empty, we'll just write this value directly. Because it is directly a host, its value has no name. Just write it directly. And then it's done. So this is how stop is handled. Next state, we'll just copy this over. Let's check. The rest are all some enter string literals and boolean values, which are easy to handle. Okay, good. What exactly do these fields mean? You can open it and take a look. We'll just leave it alone. There's nothing more to say. These are all just minor details. No need to waste everyone's time. Just give it a call, and you'll understand. Okay. Let's check it again. Okay, basically, this ReqInfo, we have defined this struct for everyone. Okay, now that it's defined, let's compile it. Then we can do the testing. Okay, so it's reporting an error. Let's check if there's something somewhere. It seems like we're missing a semicolon here. Let's restart it. Okay, now we can directly run the test. Basically, there shouldn't be any issues. It's just that we're using the non-streaming version. So we also have logs. And let me show you what we're sending. Exactly what information is being sent out. And this information, if you don't modify it, will all be default values. Then let's test it here. I'll promote this to a variable. Promote it to a variable. Okay. We are still doing the button test. Button test. Okay. Here. Okay. Okay, we need to build this. This thing is absolutely necessary. So now, for each one, then for the first parameter, we'll just give it this. And then we are user. Default is user. I ask it who you are. Okay, we can go ahead and send it now. Of course, we can't send it right now because we haven't written the key yet, but we can take a look at what information he will send over. You can see, okay, this place seems to be, it's already stuck. It seems we'll just ignore it. Let's see if it's stuck on his end. Oh, it's not stuck. We don't have a shoe mouse. It's not stuck. We just received this response here. Then we can see here the information structure we sent. It looks like this. Right. Okay, so let's check why this log wasn't printed. Did we miss adding the log printing thing again? Let's check. Let's see if it should give us a message. Obviously, we set the log level too low. Does everyone still remember how to adjust the log level? It should be log x gbd. Then we give it a very process. It should be like this. Hey, how do we adjust this log level? It should be written like this. Okay, now let's try again. Hey, you can see error code 14. IAM certification failed. This means the first level service failed. We just need to fill in the key. Okay, I'll pause here. Fill in the key. Okay, now let's test. We can see it still fails. You can see. Well, we'll ignore this part. We'll skip it. Actually, it's still failing here. The reason for the failure is simple. It's still this failure. You can see authorization failed here. The reason for the failure is its encryption method is different from that of Shunfei. We need to rewrite a new encryption method. So how should this encryption method be written? We investigated it. After we added the key, come to our place. There's an encryption here, right? Let's turn it off first. Before turning it off, we do it like this. We write an encryption like this. We give one starting with BD. What we return is an FString. This encryption is quite different, or you will find the encryption here. It directly outputs this data. We still need to do some simple processing here. Okay. The encryption here actually works like this. First take this thing, convert it into this. Change the encoding format. Then encrypt it directly here. What is used is still our encryption method. That is, there should be an encryption method at the bottom layer. It should be just that. The previous part is no longer needed. Okay, the return struct is this, right? Then the processing method here needs to be slightly different. It does it this way. That is, using the FString from hexabox method, perform a simple encryption on it. Actually, this part. Let's swap it to separate it. Then after the encryption is done like this, we'll route all of it to 2, all lowercase now. Okay, put it here. Next, we'll use this string as our encryption method. Then go back to our x star here. So where is the encryption? Actually, the encryption is still here, entry here. Then encryption should occur when generating the token. We need to encrypt it this way. We can see it's written up to here. We need to add it using this method. Hey, this usually doesn't work. Let's compare these two parameters, right? Did we forget to write static here? Indeed, we didn't write static. Let's make it static. Okay. Now let's test it again. It should work now. Good. Actually, a lot of the time after encryption, their styles are all different. Some of them even like to wrap it in base 64. and sometimes they just use it directly. And some of their interfaces look the same to you, but actually, when he was making the token, he might have one more or one less parameter. The front part is all the same. Then he adds or removes a parameter at the end, and sometimes even the documentation is written one way, while his actual code is written another way. There's no helping it. Sometimes that's just how it is domestically. We have received the response. We might need to make a simple log level adjustment. Let's start it first. We'll ignore this. This is a temporary minor issue. Let's start it. After starting, we'll let the log xgb. Then we give it variables. Okay, then we press 1. You see at this moment, it returned. I am a language model. I don't have a specific image or form. So this is a non-streaming interaction. We'll wait a moment for everyone to pass this gate. So that's all for this lesson. And this is equivalent to, we have now improved the encryption method. And at the same time, this request was successfully executed. Thank you, everyone.